Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be doing technical breakdown on big mega cap stocks. So before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Now, if you're really serious about trading and you want to do this full time, you want to get daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of long term and short term setups, definitely check out my link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into the market, guys. All right, so welcome back once again, guys. And you can see Tesla stock closing at a brand new all-time high, massive rally, and Elon Musk just getting richer and richer by each day. Tesla stock was outperforming everything, even S&P 500 today. It was up massively, and we're really close to 500, and that is due to the hype around that robo taxi. Now, let me know in the comment section if you guys will actually trust sitting in one of those, especially if that's something that is going to become reality completely. That we're just going to take robo taxis everywhere, and we do not need a driver. We're just going to have a robo taxi pick us up and drop us off, and that's how things are going to be. Maybe in the future, but I don't think, at least for myself, that I would trust something like that. Maybe for like a small, short ride, but I'm not, going to rely on something like a robo taxi to take me, somewhere far, maybe hour or 2 hour drive. With that being said, what the market did today, we had a little bit of gap down, especially here on Dow, down 0.62%. And this was one of the best trade after maybe last couple of weeks. And I'll show you guys that trade a little bit later on. Nasdaq, after going down, came back up in the green 0.23%. S&P down 0.24%. And Russell, this is another one. And I wish I can show you guys. This was a live call for 250 February 20th puts when it was trading at 256, 257, and those went to the moon today, got out completely, massive, massive dump off right down to 248. And that's why when you play these things, you gotta wait, for the right time. You can't just rush things and think that you're gonna make money immediately. Stock market map. What do we got here? Well, consumer cyclical. We all know Tesla and technology was up there too. Communication services, but look at energy. Huge, huge hit today, and crude oil just dumping, down nearly 3%. Healthcare also dumped. Real estate, financial, consumer defensive. So market is pretty much all over the place. Stock market map. What do we have here? Well, Tesla is the showstopper here, up 3%. Google down 0.61%. Meta, another one, actually going up today, 1.49%. Amazon flat, Apple flat. Microsoft, I would call this a flat day, but there are things that are building on Microsoft. I'm going to talk about it in this video. Nvidia going up 0.69%. Fear and greed index. We're still, somewhat in the middle, 47. Uh, we have some non-farm payroll today, which was okay. And then unemployment rate went up. You can see 4.6, highest since 2021, I believe. Then we have some more stuff coming out. That's going to be a big one, especially going into Thursday, early morning CPI. And then Friday, we have Michigan consumer sentiment. And now let's get right into, especially since Tesla is moving, we need to talk about Tesla. All right, so here on Tesla stock up 3%, and you guys saw the headline. Elon is making another headline, and today, it came down, but we did not get down to the gap. 463 early morning. There was a dip in the market, including Tesla. I think it was down nearly like 2%. But again, dip buyers, or I would say bag holders, soon to be bag holders, buying up these dips right here on Tesla because it's really overvalued right now, and especially if it hits 500, that's when this thing will likely to come back, just like you saw on Google. And we'll talk about Google, what's happening there. This is the same kind of move that's happening here on Tesla. But again, guys, just because it's going up, we shouldn't be chasing anything. Even if it's going up. Up to 520, 550, whatever that is, we shouldn't be chasing anything, especially when a stock like Tesla trading at almost 500. So we talked about it last night that We actually got a close over 474, so that's technically bullish in the short term, and we could see that move up to 500. Well, we got really close to it today, 492 almost, and still trading at 490. So if tomorrow, some sort of a gap up or maybe a move up to that 500 level, it could possibly happen tomorrow. Maybe even 510 to 520, but you can see the Bollinger Band has to expand, and so far that's not happening. The stock is giving no time to the Bollinger Band to expand and just continuing its move to the upside. To the downside, again, critical zone and the support to be look for definitely around that 474. If that gives up, there will be support at the gap fill reversal 463 to 464. But below that, you're going to see a quick dump off all the way down to that 434 to 432, these two moving averages, and the support itself on Tesla. On AMD, it's up 0.77%, but this is nothing but a bear flag that is playing out. So far, the Bollinger Bands are contracting. So something big is going to happen, but with this gap down here, I don't know if it's going to play out to the upside. We don't have any gaps, nothing. There's no catalyst. So watch out. AMD is about to make a big move, possibly, down here. But again, if there is some good catalyst, it can always break out to the upside, especially how semis are getting hit. And AMD from 267 down to almost this 200. So this one has potential for more upside, but definitely this would be a nice area to go possibly long on AMD. So watch out. AMD holds up here at that gap fill reversal, now acting as a support, that 206 207. If that holds up, it can possibly move up to 216. Over that, you're going to see a pump back up to 226. This thing breaks below 207. The next critical support right here at 202, lower band right here. And below that, we might see a move all the way down to 195. And then this gap comes into play on AMD. And here's my X account. And if you guys are on there, definitely give me a follow. And there is no subscription, nothing. It's totally free. And you can always ask me a question here to get a faster, quicker response right here on X. Now, I do want to share these fantastic trade ideas that we took just a couple days ago. And these were just too good, especially if you got in at the right time and you held and you did exactly what I did. You can see DIA, these puts right here, guys, huge, triple down, best opportunity, don't miss. And December 11th, 11:48 a.m. You can go and see where DIA was trading. So this fast forward today, massive PG shares that we took December 8th. It was trading at 138, 139, and this one we sold yesterday at almost 145. This was a huge trade as well. So a lot of people ask me all the time, like, do you even trade shares and stuff? We do everything, long term, short term, all the setups. And here's Google. We'll talk about Google here in this video. Even last night, I was saying that 303 gap, it's going to go there, it's going to fill that gap. And this is what we got exactly today. So a lot of people sold, they do not hold. And just the way it shows that you got to be, really patient with your trade. You cannot just, move all over the place and think that you're going to make money. So here's DIA where we took profit. It was really nice, that DIA play. And there is so many other plays that are on Patreon. So if you're really serious about trading and you want to do this really full time, and I'm talking about only serious people, guys. So if you're not serious, just ignore or skip this part. Definitely, if you're serious about it, check out the link down in the description for Patreon, and you get all sorts of trade ideas, shares, long term, short term, options, anything you need. On Google, stock is down 0.5%, but intraday, where Google was, guys, you guys saw that play, and it was really good. I mean, Google paid right and left, especially when this thing jumped up. This is exactly the move we're seeing on Tesla. Now, I can guarantee you that Tesla is going to come down, but when, I cannot tell you. It's going to take some time. And this is exactly what I said on Google as well, that, I know Google is coming down here. I can tell you guys when, but I know it's going to come down here very soon. And this is exactly what we got. I don't really have any more puts on Google. We are pretty much out completely, at least for myself. Right here, when I saw, slightly hitting 303, completely out of it. Even today, intraday, you can see went back up to 312, and these moving averages now acting as a resistance, came back, and now somehow closing at 307. So Google here, if it's bullish, if it's this going to play out another breakout, possibly this bull flag pattern plays out to the upside, we need to get over 312 and 314. If that happens, then more upside. Until then, watch out for this support right down here around 307, because top of this candle now acting as a support. But if that gives up all the way down here, that's going to be around 303, and then flat 300 all the way down to 292. That can come later on as well, as Google making this big move to the downside after that massive pump all the way up to brand new all-time high right here, 328.67. On Microsoft, it's up 0.33%. So somehow Microsoft goes up, but I mean, this thing does not have any juice left. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. This is the weekly time frame on Microsoft, and what you're seeing here on my screen, look at this lower Bollinger Band. It's sitting right here around that 474 mark. You can see right here. And that's where we got to today, almost 470 here. So we got that bounce off of this weekly lower Bollinger Band, but look at the daily, what's happening here. Upper Bollinger Band, this one coming down, the lower one going up. So it's getting a contraction from these Bollinger Bands. It's getting a squeeze in between. So whenever you see that type of move, usually something big is coming. Now, I wish I can tell you that it's going to break out to the upside, but nobody knows. It can also break down, right? But looking at the weekly time frame, I would give benefit of the doubt to the bulls that we might see a move up to this gap. Who knows, maybe to this upper portion, 492. And over that, if we can do that before Christmas, then watch out for a move up to this gap, almost 505. To the downside, going into tomorrow's session, we need to watch that 473, which held many times. If that gives up 469, 462. Also, 5 days a negative slope. So 478, you can see you got a rejection even today off of this blue line. 478 breaks, then we have resistance at 480, and over that we also have resistance at 482.66, negative sloping 20-day. And if we can cross all that, maybe a gap up and go over these moving averages, then it's heading up to this gap that we saw that gap down a few days ago, 488.5 on Microsoft. On Meta, it's up 1.49%. So Meta, you guys saw, some calls we sold before, but that was from here. Now we re-enter this trade once again because of this support. I even said it in my video that if it comes back here, holds the support at that 638 zone, we can go back in. And it's also, if you look at it, I mean, actually, I don't want to draw it, but you can clearly see a lot of people have that on X. It's a bull flag pattern, and today we broke out of there. So Meta here also got a, we got close to that 664 zone. We got a bit of a rejection today. But if this thing crosses over this 50-day right here, 664 right here, in a quick time, it can go up to 682, and possibly this gap comes into play. There are a lot of still buying on Meta for this gap to the upside. Now, yes, there is a gap. It's not showing here around 665, so we might go there at some point, maybe even tomorrow, because it looks strong, especially on that move today. To the downside, there will be support now at 650 because of this 5-day moving average, and the key support, the key zone needs to hold, which do have support from this 20-day as well. That 638 zone. Otherwise, it's going to come all the way down to this gap, and that's going to be right here at 616. On Amazon stock, it's absolutely flat on the day. So Amazon breaking down, filling the gap, and holding 222 as a support. Now, if you look at my screen, this one also the Bollinger Band coming down, but not quite as Microsoft, where it's trading really close to the price of the stock. So here, 222 gives up the next support at 218, then 215. If this thing gets over that 223, 224, you're going to see a move up to these moving averages right here, 227 to 229. And if we can get over these moving averages, we have a gap on top. We can definitely get there by Christmas, 233.55 here on Amazon. On Apple stock, it's slightly up on the day, but look at where it came down to, guys. It made a new low day, bar to bar. It actually made a new low on the daily time frame, and it actually got under that 272 mark. But then dip buyers came in and bought up the dip, went back up and holding 272 as support. So here on Apple, yes, we can see possibly a move back up to 277, but this is where it needs to get over that. Otherwise, it can come back and take out 272. And if that's out, it's heading down to 268 and then 264, 265 to close this gap, because I think the run up here on Apple, possibly over, especially after, Christmas and going into New Year, the run might be over here on Apple, and this thing might be pulling back to close some of these gaps. But maybe just before holiday, it might just stay up here, maybe even possibly go up a little bit more for that rally, center rally, and then you're going to see that going into New Year. On Nvidia, it's like it's up 0.81%. So Nvidia actually held up pretty well today. And again, if you look at my screen, we didn't actually get down to 174. Weekly expected move is down to 166, and we're not even there. So Nvidia, if this thing holds up at 174, we might get to see a move all the way back up to 178, which we're rejecting as of right now. Maybe up to even 184 once we get over 178. That's a big zone to break and hold. Now, if this thing comes back and takes out 174, it's heading lower down to that 169, 170, and then possibly down to weekly expected move, which is 166 on Nvidia. So on Netflix, slightly up on the day, 0.85%, but again, we're not out of the woods yet until it breaks and holds 97. You can go back and look at the hourly time frame. That's where we're finding a lot of resistance here for past couple of weeks. And today was just a really slow day here on Netflix. Yes, it's over 94, but we need to clear 97 for more upside up to 100. If you're gonna see some sort of a center rally here on Netflix, we need to get over 97. Below 94, nothing gonna hold up here on Netflix. It can come down to 97.7 and possibly head down to that lower target, which nobody wants to see at this point, unless you're really a big bear and shorting in the hole here on Netflix. On Broadcom, it's up 0.44%, so no big rally, and we had few calls, and these were not, like a longer expiration, and we got out for a little bit of profit on this jump, and I'm glad that we got out. Otherwise, this thing came right back, made actually a new low, and then end of the day went back up, and now we got a green day. So I was looking at it last night, and even this morning, it was down like 1.5, 2%, close to this 330 zone. But then went back up, and we never actually came back here. So I would like to open another position if that's something we get next couple sessions down to that 330 zone or even 325. That would be fantastic to play it back up to the upside. But this time, definitely not gonna buy short-term calls on Broadcom, because this thing comes back, you don't have time, it's gone. But it's a big mover, so if this thing comes back and holds right here, this bottom zone where we held so many times before, we can potentially go back up, and that 356 it can hit. Definitely, it's been selling up for past couple days. So Broadcom, nothing I see as a good opportunity unless it gets down here. But if this thing goes up from here, well, I don't care. It can go up to that next resistance. That's going to be around that 357, 56 mark. If we can cross that, it's heading even higher at that point. But we can just assume that it's going to go higher and buy this falling knife. I think the bottom, where it actually found support before, that would be a better, especially when it comes to buying calls or even going longer and buying shares. This is going to be a better area to get in, because you can set a stop loss, especially down here, maybe 325. And if that's out, yeah, I'll take a loss and get out. But if that's holding and you set a stop loss here, especially when it comes to buying shares, I think we have really upside, really good upside potential. And in the short term, it can go up another, like 15, $20, and that would be good for, whether you're buying shares or calls. But again, this is a falling knife. So if you're buying, make sure you use the stop loss right for buying. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys.